On behalf of the organizers, the Central Water Commission, the State Public Works Department, and IIT Madras, let me be the first person to welcome one and all for this first National Dam Safety Conference. At this time, I would like to invite the dignitaries to come and adorn the dais. Let's all rise for the invocation, Tamil Thai Valthu.
நீராறும் கடலொடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ் பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம்பியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Now I call upon Sri John Brito, Chief Engineer, Operation and Maintenance, Tamil Nadu Water Resources Department, to welcome this August gathering.
Very good morning to one and all present in this auditorium. I am extremely honored to be standing on this dais as a delegate of this first national level conference on dam safety, in which we are going to focus on effective application of knowledge and technology to real-time problems faced in dam safety aspects. The duty conferred upon me now is to welcome everyone to this first dam safety conference, which is being organized by Central Water Commission in coordination with Tamil Nadu Water Resources Department and Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Dr. M. Sai Kumar, IAS, Chairman, Tangetco, is present here to preside this function and deliver the presidential address. I request all present in this auditorium to join me in offering a warm welcome to Dr. Sai Kumar. Welcome, sir. Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, Director, IIT Madras, is present here, and I am delighted to offer a happy welcome to you, sir. I also heartily welcome all the professors and scholars of IIT Madras present here. Shri M. K. Gopalakrishnan, former member of Central Water Commission, is present here to give the inaugural address. We feel honored in offering a cheerful welcome to you, sir. Mr. Jun Mustumoto, Task Team Leader of the World Bank, is present here, along with his other officers of the World Bank. I heartily welcome the task team leader and all others from the World Bank team. Welcome, sir. I am also pleased to welcome Sri L.A. Vinathan, Chief Engineer, Dam Safety Organization of Central Water Commission, and all other Chief Engineers from Central Water Commission. I also welcome Dr. B.R.K. Pillai, Director DRIP, Central Water Commission, and all officers of CWC present here. I also extend a warm welcome to senior officers of the Ministry of Water Resources, Government of India, and other organizations under the ministry present here. Welcome all. Tamil Nadu Water Resources Department is hosting this mega event. Engineer R. Subramaniam, Chairman, Kaveri Technical Cell, is present here along with many chief engineers and top-ranking engineers of Tamil Nadu WRD as part of this conference. I feel extremely pleased to welcome all engineers and officers of Tamil Nadu Water Resources Department, TANGEDCO, Tamil Nadu Agricultural Engineering Department, and other departments who are present here. Members of National Committee on Dam Safety, engineers, academicians in charge of execution of dam rehabilitation works, representatives of dam safety organizations of various states, and dam owners throughout the country are present here. Let me offer a pleasant welcome to all delegates of this conference and a very special welcome to those who are going to be chairpersons, reporters, and technical paper presenters in the various technical sessions to follow. I heartily welcome the companies who are sponsoring various activities to this conference. I wholeheartedly welcome all the personnel from the press and the media. Above all, I humbly pray to invite and welcome the presence of a supreme power of Almighty knowledge to be with us in the forthcoming 2 days of the conference to enlighten us. I hope that we all will gain a lot in the 6 technical sessions that are to follow this inaugural session. Thank you one and all for sharing this special event with us.
Lighting of the lamp symbolizes the removal of darkness called as ignorance, and then with the light called knowledge. I invite the dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp. Now we would like to honor the dignitaries with a bouquet of flowers. Sri M.K. Gopal Krishna, former Chairman, Central Water Commission. Dr. M. Sai Kumar, Chairman, TANGEDCO. Mr. Jun Matsumoto, Team Task Leader, World Bank. Professor Bhaskar Ramurthy, Director, IIT Madras. Sri John Brito, Chief Engineer, Tamil Nadu Water Resources Department. Dr. Ravi Pillai, Project Director, DRIP, CWC. Sri Suresh, Project Director, State Project Management Unit, DRIP. Dr. Ravi Pillai pursued his B.Tech in Civil Engineering from National Institute of Technology, Calicut, and then completed his post-graduation in Structural Engineering from IIT Delhi. Subsequently, he has done Masters in MBA, followed by a PhD in Stakeholder Management from the Faculty of Management Studies, MS University, Baroda. He is a water resources professional specializing in areas of irrigation, hydropower, and dam safety, and has held responsible positions in 4 different organizations connected connected with the water resources sector. He has initiated and guided many of the recent dam safety activities in the country, including the draft dam safety legislation under consideration for the Indian Parliament and the Dam Rehabilitation and Improvement Project DRIP, currently under implementation with the World Bank assistance. Now I request Dr. Pillai to come and say a few words about the conference.
Thank you. Respected dignitaries on the dais, esteemed guests, delegates of the conference, members of press, students, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning and welcome to this first Dam Safety Conference. I have the privilege of making the introduction of the conference of this event. Let me begin from the beginning. We know that now the notion of water scarcity on this planet Earth is talked about with greater strength day by day. This notion, I believe, is erroneous and maybe even a bit sinful, because the water, as we know, is probably available in this great abundance only on this planet Earth, and especially in the form of a renewable fresh water. In the liquid form, it's available only on this planet. We are hardly able to find traces of water in any other planet. So when we talk about scarcity in the same tone and tenor, are we really looking for stepping out of this planet? That's the basic question which we need to address. So the key word basically is about the renewable water resource. And I would like to mention that here also, that renewability has got another connotation in terms of the periodicity of the renewability. So when we look at alternative options of the water, the factor of renewability is very different. I mean, if we talk of the water which is frozen, the renewability factor is something like between the ice ages only the water may be actually becoming replaced. In case of groundwater, it's thousands of years in which the renewability is actually happening. It's only in the case of surface water that the renewability is something running into days, maybe about 15-20 days only you are able to actually renew the water. So, does it mean that we do not have problem? No, we do have a problem, and that problem is essentially associated to what we know as the variance or the non-uniformity in the availability of this water, both in terms of space and time. And this single natural factor, combined with the dilemma of ever-increasing human population on this earth, is the basis of this what we know as the great water problem, and sometimes now we call it as water stress. The remedy for this water stress or this problem in terms of solution of non-uniformity in geographic distribution is generally sought by way of putting up diversion dams. You make diversion structures, you have the water conductor system, you can take water where it is not available from the water available sources. As a remedy for non-uniformity in terms of time-dependent availability of water, the solution is in creation of storage dam. So if water is available on a short window, you store it so that you can have the water over a prolonged period. That's a simple solution. Now these simple solutions are not something which we have developed over the last few years. No, they have been available over many civilizations. They are the old, sound and tested methods, and probably the only meaningful solution even today, and probably for the future population. Now with a geographic proportion of about 2.2% in the world land area, India has a share of about 4.6% in the renewable water resource. No way we can say that we are actually scarce as a demographic unit in terms of water. In fact, Jal Dhan is something which is primary to us. It was there as a wealth all along, and it is still a wealth with us. But still we have, in the last decade or so, we have entered the list of water-stressed nations because of the single factor that the share of population, our population in the world population, is to the tune of 16.6% now. This is at the macro level. At micro level, the situation is even worse. because of what we know as the vagaries of the monsoon rainfall, the non-uniformity in the rainfall patterns as such. About 65% of India's land accounts for less than 30% share in the overall water resources, freshwater resources. In terms of time-related availability, almost 3/4 of the rainfall is happening in less than 1/4 of the period in an annual cycle, which is the monsoon period. And even in monsoon duration, almost 50% of the rainfall is confined to something like less than 15 days, less than, in fact, 100 hours. Now, that kind of non-uniformity is the basic issues which we are facing with. Now, it was realized very early by India and our visionaries that our backbone of the economy, that is the agriculture, cannot be left in terms of dependence to monsoon alone or the rainfall pattern alone. And that's why very early we started building up the dams. In fact, in the last 50 years or so, we have built thousands of dams, and now we rank third in the world after US and China in terms of large number of dams. In fact, we have about 5,100 large dams, and we still have potentials for building up many more dams. But a majority of them, existing dams, almost 80% of the existing dams have crossed the age of about 25 years, when the issues related to its deferred maintenance and its overall health are coming up. Now, why the health and safety of the dam is important, that's a question we really need to look into. I believe there are three primary reasons for giving a focus on this particular issue. Number one, these dams have been built up for a certain reason, and to ensure the continuity of that benefit, we need to ensure the safety of the dam. Second is that these assets have been built with huge investment, not only on the primary asset called dam, but also on the secondary asset in terms of huge network of canal, in terms of development of powerhouses, and even tertiary assets in terms of, say, agro industries, transmission lines, etc. These investments are not only in terms of financial cost. In fact, there is a huge social cost and even environmental cost built into these assets. So protecting these assets is again our second reason for bringing focus on the dam safety. Of course, the third and the most important reason is about the safety of the lives and property of the people who are downstream of these dams. And this is still vital for a country like ours because of the sheer reason of the population density which we are facing with. Now, a safe dam is said to be one which performs its intended function without imposing any risk, any unacceptable risk to the people and the society in general during its normal operation or operation under extreme conditions. Obviously, the factor of risk involves both aspects, that is the safety of the dams also, but also the factor of consequences in case the dam fails. So the subject of dam safety involves practically both aspects, that is focus in terms of structural measures as well as focus on the non-structural measure in terms of minimizing the consequences of the dam failures. Now, a dam in its lifetime can be threatened by many natural causes such as floods, earthquake, landslide, and even the factor of normal aging process related to deterioration of the quality of the material with which the dams have been built up. And then there are man-made causes also, which are essentially embedded in something like faulty investigation, poor planning, inadequate design, poor quality of construction, lack of sufficient maintenance, and sometimes misoperation. Now, these factors essentially bring focus on what we generally know as a robust institutional mechanism which is needed to take care of these issues. Hence, the dam safety has become what we call as an inherent function in the planning, in the design, construction, maintenance, and operation of dam. We know that over a long period, these aspects have gone through a lot of changes in the approach. Besides the fact, there is also an important aspect which relates to the interdisciplinary nature of the dam safety. In fact, we all know that gynecology as a specialized division of medicine has come up essentially for the birth of the mankind. But for maintenance of the health and safety of the mankind, you have got all other special divisions of the medicine. And same is the case with dam safety also. we have practically almost every division of engineering field which is getting one way or other way linked with the area of dam safety. And all these specialized areas have seen substantial change in terms of improvement and development, in terms of know-how, in terms of technology over the long period. Obviously, our old dams are not meeting these changes or not meeting with the criteria which we now know are the correct ones. Then there is another factor which is related to the risk perception and the risk tolerance of the current society. That brings another challenge in terms of the standards and acceptable criteria of safety and environmental mitigations. Now, it has been realized world over that you need a sound institutional mechanism for handling these issues. And this was realized by our ministry and Central Water Commission very early. In Central Water Commission, we had set up Central Dam Safety Organization way back in 1979. With pursuance of Central Water Commission, now we have Dam Safety Organization in almost every state of the country. We have also set up a National Committee on Dam Safety sometime in 1987 with the mandate of guiding and supervising the activities of various dam safety organizations. Central Water Commission was also involved, rather it was initiated by Central Water Commission, a program called Dam Safety Assurance and Rehabilitation, which was taken up with World Bank assistance way back in 91 to 99, and where about 33 dams were rehabilitated and brought to good health conditions. In fact, that program was the kind of unique program taken up for the first time world over. And using the learning curve of that particular program, we have moved on to the second phase of the dam safety program. And now we have a project called Dam Rehabilitation and Improvement Project, which has already commenced. It started in April 2012, and we are in the third year of its implementation. And in this project, we have got, we are targeting rehabilitation about 250 dams, old dams, distressed dams in about 7 states. Besides involvement of these states, we have also involvement of premier academic and research institution like IIT Chennai in terms of targeting the capacities of these institutions in terms in the area of dam safety. And there is a huge collaboration which is happening between academia, the practicing, the dam owners, the expert entities like CWC, CSMRS, etc., and even the industry. Now, as part of this particular DRIP project and as part of the institutional strengthening component of this project, we are organizing this particular conference. And this is being tagged as the first National Dam Safety Conference, essentially with a notion that we will repeat this and make it this particular program an annual feature. Maybe initially for the next 3 to 4 years, we will rotate this in the other DRIP state in collaboration with the other academic DRIP entities. The focus of this conference is on the effective application of knowledge and technology to real life problems, challenges which are being faced by the dam safety professionals. But then we also have to understand that with a experience of almost 1,000 years in the dam building, it's not that we do not have adequate know-how or the technologies in these areas, but the problem which we face is essentially on account of compartmentalization of this knowledge. The knowledge is there, but what is confined to one area is not passing on to other, and we really are lacking what we call as synergy otherwise in rest of the economic development and areas. So the second objective of the conference is to break this barrier, in fact to bridge the knowledge gap which is already existing between these divisions of the knowledge, the compartments of the knowledge. For this particular conference, topics have been decided for the technical session based on the priorities or the areas which were flagged during first 3 years of DRIP implementation. In fact, we are going to have 6 technical sessions, and we have got very good response in terms of more than 50 papers coming across these various divisions from the dam owners, from the academia, from the expert institutes, and many papers coming from the industry also, from the consulting sector as well as the industry as such. We also have got a very good response from industry in terms of sponsorship for some of our activities under the conference. And of course, the response of the conference can be seen by this August gathering, which has overwhelming response, in fact, in terms of the delegation participation and registration. I would like to use this opportunity to congratulate all of you for becoming part of this milestone event. And we look forward to a good deliberation in the conference so as to be able to come out with valuable recommendation, not only for our balance period of the DRIP, but for the whole dam safety initiative which is in process. I also would like to make a statement that we are starting this kind of activity for the first time, so hopefully we will make this particular event the benchmark event for ensuring success of all future programs. With that, I thank you all once and again.
Thanks, Dr. Ravi, for stressing the importance of DRIP and the significance that this conference have in the whole effort under the DRIP program. Professor Bhaskar Ramurthy got his BTech in electronics from IIT Madras and his MS and PhD from University of California at Santa Barbara, USA. After working at AT&T Bell Laboratories for a couple of years, Professor Bhaskar joined the faculty of IIT Madras in 1996. His areas of specialization are communications and signal processing. He took over as director of IIT Madras in September 2011. I invite Professor Bhaskar Ramurthy to address this August gathering.
Shri Gopalakrishnan, Dr. Sai Kumar, Dr. Pillai, Shri Mr. Matsumoto, Shri V.D. Suresh, Shri John Brito, other dignitaries in the audience, participants in this conference, hopefully some students here, I don't know. So on behalf of the Indian Institute of Technology Madras, very proud and happy to be hosting this conference and like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. It's very heartening to see the kind of deep and multifaceted interaction between an academic institution such as ours and a large body of practicing experts and engineers in a specialized area of dam safety. This is the first conference, I'm told, and I'm therefore doubly pleased that we are hosting it. The IITs in general and IIT Madras specifically have been undergoing a very big change in their demographics, if you want to call it. We are largely have been known for our undergraduate programs, though we have had very good research programs from inception. But of late, our research programs and our postgraduate programs have grown tremendously. Today, our postgraduate student population and PhD and MS by research, this student population is larger than our undergraduate population. We have more than 2,000 PhD students and another 100,000 or so students who are doing masters by research. One of the things I'd like to hope is that in efforts like this, which are being undertaken by a big community of engineers from various organizations, and now roping in the academic community also, that we will also involve students in a big way. They do internships. They are very, very keen to work on interesting, challenging problems. I think it's very good for them. It's also very good for the organizations which involve them. It's very good for them because it has been difficult to get students to understand that there are many wheels that are rolling and many cogs that are running to make sure that the country moves every day. And a lot of engineering goes into it, a lot of technology goes into it. But somehow there's a superficial perception that not much is going on. And this is something we should completely, we should do all we can to dispel. So involving students from the earliest stage in all kinds of ways during their breaks is a very good way to, I think it has multiple benefits, as I said, both for them and for the organizations. The other thing I'd like to point out with specifically because of the background, in my own technical background, is I did go through the sort of areas of expertise that are involved in this particular subject of dam safety, and I saw many of my colleagues from different disciplines in the civil engineering department are involved. I would also like to suggest that we could look at the issue of using sensors, real-time, online monitoring. These are all new areas, because I know there are projects that are funded by the Department of Information Technology and Electronics on landslide monitoring and so on. I would say they are still, done in a very academic way. A little bit of trials here and there, but no serious effort to take it to a point where you can actually depend on them. But I think if we bring those elements also into, even as a sort of a more research element, more something that will happen in the next few years or at the end of the next few years, I think it'll be very good for the evolution of technology in this. There is a lot of scope now for embedding all kinds of sensors that are not very expensive into these structures, into the water body, both upstream and downstream, to make sure that we get real-time information on this health and safety of the dam. So these are things that we could do by involving academics from other departments here, particularly electrical engineering, computer science, chemical engineering, and so on. And there's another area that's becoming very big, and that is the area of what's called now, the buzzword is big data, but basically I'm sure in all these, among the organizations that are involved here, a lot of data is collected routinely by various entities. Apparently, as Dr. Pillai mentioned, apparently is disconnected entities. But if you actually mine this data and look for patterns, you can discover sources of information, sources of knowledge, you can discover information which you didn't know existed in that data. So this is an area that's also emerging. We have groups in IIT Madras who look at this kind of thing. So I would therefore just broadly say that through my colleagues here who are already involved, we should try to broaden the base of disciplines that look at this problem, and I think we'll only benefit from that, all the way from sensors to just analyzing data. And that would be, in fact, it would be good to bring students from other departments also in that process into the, they should become aware. They should go to these sites. They should do something. They should become aware of what's possible and what's already being done. Lastly, I would say that it's not related directly to dam safety, but in this institute we have and it's housed essentially in the civil engineering department. We have a National Center for the Safety of Heritage Structures. This, of course, looks more at our older buildings. And just yesterday, in fact, we were at a meeting at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, because they are coming up with a conservation plan for Rashtrapati Bhavan, and the same issues in some sense. What's how safety of the building, structural as well as the materials and so on. So these kind of problems are not they're not as compartmentalized as we think they are. Of course, the issues are very different in a dam and in a heritage building, but there are many things that are also similar. So in that sense, institutions like ours are building up capacity to do these things. It has, as I said, multiple benefits. Our students are our primary focus in an academic institution is preparing the next generation of students. And of course, as a corollary, we have a lot of expertise in our faculty and students, so we also work with departments of the kind that you are listed here to on problems and challenges that are present today. But our primary focus, we never want to lose sight of, but it's very important to bring our students into all of this. And in that sense, therefore, as I said, we are very happy and very privileged to be part of this kind of effort. We will do whatever we can. We work with the state and central governments in many, many aspects across all departments, and this is why I'm very glad that this is one more in which we are now sinking our teeth into. Thank you very much for coming in such large numbers for this conference, and I hope we do a good job of hosting it for you, and I hope that we get a chance to do it again and again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Bhaskar, for emphasizing the multidisciplinary nature of the problem. And I'm sure we will have a lot of scope for involving more team members from other department as well. Sri Gopal Krishnan holds Masters with Honors with gold medal from University of Roorkee, now IIT Roorkee. He joined Central Water Engineering Services and held various positions in CWC, with a large chunk of it in design and research wing of CWC. He had been guiding major dam designs and project implementations in India for over 5 decades. Sri Gopal Krishnan is well known to global water community. He was Secretary General of International Commission for Irrigation and Drainage and Governor of World Water Council. He is a recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Academy of Water Resources Engineers with the conferment of the Honorary Diplomat status. He is actively involved in the program of interlinking of rivers, advising the government in various capacities. I request Sri M.K. Gopal Krishna to deliver the inaugural address.
Distinguished colleagues in the dais, my distinguished friends, I see amidst us quite a few former chairmen, Mr. Jayasilan, Mr. Bajaj, and quite a few of my other colleagues who had quite significantly contributed to the topic that we have before us. Prior to that, I am pleased that we are assembled in a place where the water diversion activities has a history of more than 2,000 years. As you know, after the dam or diversion barrage in China, that is 2,250-year-old, we have the Grand Aniket, built during Chola times in this part of the country. And it is a point that proves that water can be utilized for the welfare of the human beings in a almost sustainable manner without causing harm for over 20 centuries. So I am very happy that we are in a place where things were built so solidly. The temples of this state is an ample proof of how one could think of making robust structures that could stand to the test of time and also make the place itself something to feel highly proud of. Now, the past with regard to dam building in our country, it took off slowly during the Britishers' time. In fact, it started around 19th century. And again, admirably, it is the state of Tamil Nadu, the then Madras province, that had the privilege of having Mettur Dam. And you know the amount of benefits that could be derived for the society from a structure for over 100 years, and still a lot is being hoped from that particular structure. So after the British left us, as Mr. Pillai was trying to inform us, there was an impetus in dam building. Well, in 60s, 70s, we could acknowledge the importance of storage. Pillai brought out the need for a country which is having both temporal and spatial variability in water availability, the inevitability of dams and storage. If there is something that could save us, it is the storage, and only storage, be it green storage in the form of capturing moisture in the soil, which is now highly encouraged, and also blue water storage, that is in the form of dams, small, medium, and large, and or barrages to divert. Well, friends, we are in a situation where we face a lot of dilemma due to societal pressure. As the society developed, as more and more population settled, right from the top of the hills down to the area where the river debouches and also drains into the sea, any activity of developmental nature is facing a problem. And to our surprise, just about 15 years back, when the world set up a sort of World Commission on Dams, WCD it is more commonly known, it gave us a report which was having a sort of mixed signals. It did acknowledge the advantage of dams and storages, but at the same time, it tried to highlight for the first time more elaborately on the harms that dams could cause. So it is a struggle to build new dams due to many reasons, be it the resettlement aspects or the water sharing aspect. That itself is a very, very vexing subject, especially India has a lot of experience, and not only in India, elsewhere in the world too. As you know, water can really divide people, and at the same time, it is water which alone could admirably unite people. You have ample examples of both kinds around the world. If you know, about 8 nations are collaborating in Africa together. You know, the Nile Basin, it has got a wide variety of situations. And to bring them together and get together, some admirable work is going on. So with the waters of Jordan River and other places where there is water scarcity, and also Mekong River Basin. But we have some other types of problems. Why I am trying to bring in this point of view, it is a difficult thing to create assets. And the dams and storages, which Pillai has been trying to bring out as many as 5,100, but quite a few could be, you know, double count, triple count. In the same project, there can be several saddle dams, and if you start assigning each one a number, we may feel that we have so much of dams. But in reality, the storage that we could create for this country is appallingly a low one compared to some of the pictures that we see elsewhere. Like if you see Nile or the High Aswan Dam in Egypt, it is nearly 1,000 days flow of the river that has been captured behind the High Aswan Dam. So with Murray-Darling in Australia, it is nearly 3 years flow. In none of our river basins, we have got that much of, storage dams or storage capture. The thing is, before we could concentrate, complete the activities relating to dam building, it was going rather slow because of the financial constraint that was but common in the days of 60s, 70s, 80s, thin spreading of the funds. By the time we were able to stand ourselves on financial situation to some extent, the opposition for dams had grown to such an extent that doing anything new is now becoming almost a problem, be it nuclear, be it thermal, be it also a hydro or other project. So that being the case, to consolidate what you have assumes greater importance. So the entire gamut of dams, 5,000 he was trying to indicate, 5,100, that is our asset. And how do we nurture and perpetually obtain the benefits that our earlier, it is a sort of an ancestral or predecessor's gift to us. How do we nurture it? And that's where the dam safety or dam rehabilitation and improvement project assumes a great significance. I am happy that more and more the focus is on dam safety. And again, looking at the dam safety, the importance of this gained around 90s. It was in around 83, 84 when the dam safety guidelines emerged from the United States Bureau of Reclamation, followed later on by others. And there are now quite a good example as to how to go about assuring the asset management in a way that it can perpetually yield good. Now, dam safety, even in India, we were not lagging much behind. It was right around that time we also tried to have a sort of a dam safety program. It started at the center, and in the designs and research wing, there was an exclusive dam safety organization unit that was conceived. There were also guidelines with regard to dam safety, the inspection procedures, and so on. And at the same time, at a national level, we did have a national committee on seismic design parameters. It was simply named in 70s as a committee for determining the earthquake parameters. That was the technology at that point of time. But after the Koina earthquake in 1967, we gained so much of experience as to how to go about, and it could question the veracity of some of the assumptions that went behind the dam designs in 70s. In 65, 66, 67, we used to have only log tables and slide rules. Even computation was a great difficulty. And I recall the days when I joined the commission as an assistant director. We had to do enormous amount of computation using the slide rule and later some sort of a calculator. This is before the large-scale computer invasion in our engineering sphere. And the amount of material we generated for different assumptions of earthquake, the effect on the dam and its dam safety was so much, we used to just jocularly indicate that if we throw all these papers behind the dam, it would act as a buttress and save it. No, we have come a long way. We have terrific programs, we have good speeds, and even we can consider sort of multi-objective type of analysis that can extend beyond many dimensions. And that is where we have to see how to bring in together the tools that are available with modern technologies and also address the problems that we have. Being a nation rich of dams that are I am sure during the sessions you are going to get an ample picture as to dams built which are over 100 years old, over 50 years, and over 10 years, and so on. So we are going to have a good statistics. And there, as Mr. Pillai was trying to bring out, we have to look at 2-3 different aspects, right? In 90s, historically, people did acknowledge the importance of hydrology, because quite a few dams built earlier, even hydrology as a science was not born. The type of flood estimation was Charles' method, Dickens' method, then came the unit hydrograph, the hydrology, and now we are trying to go even farther when it comes to estimating the flood hydrology, especially in the streams, coupling the meteorology as well as hydrology with the HEAPEX program, which is the present day of art. We can predict as much as month-long projections. This is available in Colorado and applied in 7 places around the world. We are yet to get into that aspect. What's important is the hydrologic review, and quite a few dams that were designed to evacuate a particular amount of probable maximum flood that itself had to be relooked at. And once it was acknowledged that there is a possibility of more floods that could come, again, ipso facto, one has to see how to provide enough waterway, or the hydraulics of it comes in. And then also comes the open channel hydraulics, the effect of such flows downstream and the possible damages and so on. Apart from the hydrologic safety, we had the problem of structural safety, especially even after Koina earthquake. It was found it was designed for an earthquake of 0.05 G that was uniformly applied top to bottom in the same manner. There was no variability. but we had gone a long way thereafter. The codes now prescribe a triangular variation, but for large dams, we go much more deeper. We insist on a site-specific design parameter evaluation. And when we say it is not a single thing, you have to have a sort of an accelerogram and try to also bring in the dynamic material characterization as to how the structure behaves. So the simplistic rule of so much tension, percentage, and all that vanishes. You have to have a fair insight, and that brings in the designer together with researcher and the research institutions. So I am very happy that with the World Bank's support, for all these needs a sort of a kick, and it's good, especially in a country where funding is a problem, where there are still a lot more work to be done, and new dams are also candidates for the same money that is allocated to, say, Water Resources Ministry, find something to maintain the old assets, that is the entire dam portfolio. And the dams in India, it is the state governments, because water being in the constitution a state subject, it is their responsibility. But over a period, there were other players, and it started with the hydro corporations in almost all the states, which itself has got split due to debundling subsequently. Now there are others, the national hydro corporations, and they also do have a portfolio of dams. Hopefully, the states concerned would try to ensure that they comply with any of the dam safety provisions. Mr. Pillai was trying to indicate passingly about the dam, the bill on dam safety that is going to come in. It is nearly now 5 years old. I think Mr. Bajaj's time, it even was tried to one where they were trying to project it to the parliament. I wish that this takes off faster, and this also extends its purview to the private players who are now stepping into water sector, be it in power generation or otherwise, so that they also do a job that is admirably best for the common good. Otherwise, sometimes there are different interests, and we may obtain a structure which is not necessarily as safe as a public entity would have brought into position. So I am happy when I look at this maiden conference. It is trying to address like the hexagonal thing that which I give a look. It also tries to bring in some of the latest that is available in our profession, that is bringing in risk and uncertainty. The dam safety bill itself is something unique, because it not only tries to tell all that is required for dam safety, which is based on, say, global learnings, but it tries to factor the Indian situation. What is that Indian situation means? Now, if you see ICOL guidelines or guidelines that are prescribed for dam safety elsewhere in the world, there is a hazard map that is there, and in which you would find even over 100 people getting affected, the hazard category moves up. For a country like ours, where the population is so dense, right from the top of the hills up to the coast, we may have to have some norms which slightly differ. And that is where we have tried to evolve our own guidelines, and now we do have how to go about assessing the dam safety, and also try to, it need not be the same extent all over, it could differ, but then there will be a sort of disaster management plan in case of an eventuality, how to go about it. I am sure in the later part of these sessions you would get a picture as to how dams have behaved and how dams have failed globally as well as in India. And in India, if you see the population of dams that exist and the such type of failure incidence, it is much less than some 0.1, 0.2%. But then that need not bring in any complacency. There is an aging effect, and there is also this climate change, which is bringing in the inevitable necessity to relook whatever we thought we know in a robust manner. The hydrology is being questioned. We do have floods of the nature that we saw in Uttarkashi just 2 years back. That type of thing, and also for most of the Himalayan dams, we have to factor the snow melt and also the glow or glow. So this being the case, the science is moving rapidly to understand this properly and also try to bring in how to ensure safe structures. I was deeply involved in Theory Dam, and it was having all along lot of difficulties, and in the process of defending the adequacy of the design, the adequacy of the earthquake design parameters, especially to those who would never get convinced, I had gathered as much knowledge as to the compulsion that we should have these days in understanding the topics that we do as fully and as comprehensively as possible. Half knowledge is dangerous, and luckily I find the entire concept that is being now advanced, it has sought for a backing of a group of experts in respect of the states while they undertake the dam safety program. There is a lot that should be done by those who are in position, and equally there are a lot of advice that could be given by those who had a wonderful experience, because dams were built in those days when they were in actual position. So friends, I am sure the way the conference has been articulated by the organizers, it is going to accommodate most of your rich experiences from different parts of the states in this country, and also some good examples, especially on risk assessment and how do we go about it. Yes, it is of great interest to those who manage a portfolio of dams, like I think the president is going to look at it, which sequentially you should order in case the demand is for so much of finances. So the conference is quite interesting one that has been articulated. I have great pleasure, and I am honored to be here for this occasion and also be invited to say a few words. I thank you very much, and I wish the conference all success.
Thank you very much, sir, for the historical perspective interlaced with modern dimensions and stressing the importance of dam safety and rehabilitation. We have with us Dr. Sai Kumar, who belongs to the 1990 IAS batch of Tamil Nadu cadre. He is a graduate of History and Political Science and has a PhD in Philosophy from University of Madras. As an assistant collector, commissioner, and collector, and subsequently as collector, Dr. Sai Kumar has served extensively in the land revenue management and district administration. Dr. Sai Kumar also served as a principal secretary of the PWD for over 3 years. Since December 2014, Dr. Sai Kumar has taken over the helms of affairs of Tanjatco as chairman cum managing director. I invite Dr. Sai Kumar to deliver the presidential address.
Dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here and a privilege, and I am happy that the first National Dam Safety Conference is being organized here in Tamil Nadu, simply because Tamil Nadu perhaps is the only state which has a rich history of bringing a 150-year-old dam to modern standards. I think nowhere else in the entire country you have such engineering, of course with the help of the CWC, which has brought an old dam to modern standards, so much so that the Supreme Court and after a rigorous technical assessment had said that this dam is hydrologically, structurally and seismically safe. Tamil Nadu also is perhaps the only state which has instituted an award for the best maintained dam. I don't think any other state, I'm not sure whether any state has it. For the last 3.5 to 4 years, we have been selecting, after a very rigorous selection process, one of the dams in the state. And that dam is just as a matter of encouragement to the engineers who go into maintaining the dam, and also as kind of encouraging and enthusing others who are also in the job of maintaining the other dams, that the best maintained dam is award is given to these engineers, the field engineers of the dam. I am also happy that I have been asked to come here because I have been dealing with this dam safety program, the DRIP program, for the last 3 years. I thought, having gotten out of the Public Works Department, I will not be able, I'm not concerned with it, but somehow the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board, the Tangetco also has about 38 to 40 dams with us, so we are also maintaining that. So willy-nilly this, I'm in that dam job, so the job of looking after the dams. So even if I were to leave the job, the dams are not leaving me, so I am being chased by these dams. So I thought I might as well work on this. But really, I've been closely associated with the program for the 3 years, and I must say, though the program has been making a very slow progress, the progress has been steady, in the sense that unlike any other program, this has lots of components. Any other program, it's not just a contractor driven program. There are a lot of components as to how a dam has to be brought to modern standards, and most of you would agree. Nothing, it's not a reflection on the engineers here, but the pre-independence dams seem to be much better than the post-independence dams which we have constructed. Some of the modern dams, as late as 25, 30-year-old dams, when we see, they need to be sort of attended to, and when we were doing the phasing of this DRIP program into 4 phases initially, which were later converted into 2 phases, we had to go into those dams which are recent, not the dams which are pre-1947. That needs to be attended to immediately. So if that is any indication, it's not an indication on the quality, but maybe it's an indication on something much more deeper. We have to sort of look at the entire atmosphere, not just the quality of engineers or quality of engineering, but the entire, what we call the ambient atmosphere outside, as to what makes these dams not so thriving and what makes this as phase 1 dams, which we had to do it. So having said that, I must compliment everybody here who is assembled for their keen interest, and also in the kind of systematic approach they have adopted in working it. It has gone for a long time. Now we have come to certain standardized practices as to how this work has to be taken up. So it's almost taken about 2.5 to 3 years, much more than what a normal World Bank program would take even in the gestation period. But having taken that gestation period, now I think it's time that we improve this program and take this program to its logical conclusion as fast as we can. Speaking of the institutional arrangements, I just had 1 or 2 points to make here, because the Dam Safety Act is a very major act which is being put in the Parliament. It came in the last Parliament also, and then we had certain reservations from the government of Tamil Nadu on the entire structure of the bill, because there are certain areas where we need to consult the state governments much more, and the views of the state governments need to be taken into consideration when the final bill is adopted. Ultimately, the state governments, who are the owners of the dam, have the onus on maintaining the dam, and that needs to be pointedly brought in this dam safety legislation. As a PWD secretary, I met the standing committee chairman last time also and made a presentation as to what has to be done. And again, when it comes up, because that bill, I believe, has been redrafted now, and I'm not sure whether it has been put in the public domain as yet. If it comes into the public domain, a lot of discussion needs to be done. A lot of state governments have to be taken on board, and also, as Sri Gopal Krishnan was saying, the non-state actors perhaps who are having a stake in some of these structures, some agencies like maybe NHPC, NTPC or Tangetco, which might not be the state actors, but they are very much a part of dam owning. So who are the responsible authorities for this safety of the dam? The concerned state governments which own the dams should be given the responsibility perhaps, and that is where the buck should stop. So these are the things which we have to take into consideration when we are finalizing it. I'm sure the CWC would certainly consult the state government's concern about these dams. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I deem it a privilege, and I wish your seminar a very grand success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sai Kumar, for your kind words. Now I invite Sri V.D. Suresh, Project Director of State Project Management Unit DRIP, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Distinguished guests and fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Tamil Nadu takes the pride to host the first National Dam Safety Conference. We wanted to create a benchmark for the national conference to be followed by the subsequent ones. In this, I would like to thank the Chairman cum Managing Director Tanjatco and the Engineer Chief and the present Principal Secretary to WRD for their support for organizing this conference. I thank all those concerned in CWC, TNWRD, and IITM for their support for organizing the conference. It is a team effort of several people who played different roles effectively and contributed to the success. I thank Sri M.K. Gopalakrishnan, former chairman of CWC, for agreeing to inaugurate the conference at a very short notice and for his illuminating address. I thank Dr. M. Sai Kumar, Chairman cum Managing Director, Tanjatco, for the support extended to the conference and for readily agreeing to preside over the inaugural address. I would like to thank Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, Director, IITM, for his support in organizing the conference, gracing the inaugural session, and delivering the guest address. I would like to thank Sri D. John Brito, Chief Engineer, O&M, who was the driving force for the organizing conference. I thank Dr. B.R.K. Pillai, who was instrumental for initiating the conference. He was also the biggest motivating force behind the conference. He, along with his team, contributed significantly for the success of the conference. Sri Bhaskar Reddy, Organizing Secretary for the conference, was the silent force driving behind the organizing the conference. I thank him and Aegis for the support provided. I want to thank Professor Rajagopal, Professor Srinivasan and their colleagues, research scholars and students from IITM, providing the venue and taking care of the organization work in IITM. I thank all my colleagues in Tamil Nadu Water Resources Department who worked day and night in preparing for the conference. World Bank, which is financing the dam rehabilitation and improvement project, participating in the conference in a large measure. I thank Mr. June, Sri Malhotra and their team for their participation. I thank the sponsors who organized various events and provided items for the conference. I thank the organization which took part in the exposition to showcase their technologies and products for the benefit of the delegates. Ultimately, I thank all the delegates who made it to the conference. They represent the Water Resources Department and the electrical side from Kerala, Karnataka, Odisha, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Meghalaya, Shillong, Himachal Pradesh, etc. And also major dam owning public sectors like NTPC and NHPC. We also have participation from several private organizations from India and abroad, providing services or engaged in instrumentation, construction or rehabilitation of dams. You may have fruitful interactions among the delegates to share knowledge and experiences. You are our guest, and Tamil Nadu has the culture of treating the guest as God. Please feel free to contact us for your requirements during your stay. We will take care of them care of them with all our means. Last but not the least, I thank the press for covering the conference and giving adequate publicity. Thank you very much.